Hi, it's Maija here with the last 10 books tag. This was originally created by Mark Nash and nobody tagged me, but I just saw this around and thought it would be fun to do. So let's start with the questions. Question number 1 is the last book you didn't finish. And I haven't really DNF'd books in a long while, or at all. But anyway, there's one that I'm currently debating on whether to finish or not, and that is The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. You might know that I've been reading this for a couple of months, and I am on page 48. It might have good things to say about war and soldiers, and I think people seem to like this. When I look at Goodreads, they get good ratings from people I follow, but I'm a lot more interested in the other books that I own, and this one just hasn't gripped me. So let me know, should I finish The Forever War? I'm really not so far into the depiction of women in this. Question number 2 is the last book you reread, and if we're talking about comics, I reread The Imperial Phase, parts 1 and 2 of The Wicked and the Divine, so these are volumes 5 and 6 by Kieran Killen and Jamie McKelvey, because I wanted to read volume 7, which I have since read. So I read these two again to refresh my memory, and then I also reread Changeless by Gail Carriger. This is the second book in the Parasol Protectorate series, and I reread this on audiobook. Question number 3, the last book you bought, and that is A Confederation of Valor by Tanya Huff, and this is a bind-up of the first 2 Confederation novels, so that's Valor's Choice and The Better Part of Valor. These are science fiction books, as you can maybe see. I have read a standalone fantasy book from Tanya Huff before, and I really liked that one, so when I saw this at a second-hand shop, I decided to pick it up. Then there are 2 questions that I do not have an answer for. The last book you said you read but didn't, and the last book you wrote in the margins of, and I don't think I have done either of those things. Question number 6 is the last book you had signed, and that is Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb, which I got signed at the Helsinki Worldcon, as you can see here. Question number 7 is the last book you lost, and I don't recall losing a book. But anyway, the question number 8 is the last book you had to replace, and that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. It was a few years ago now. I had the paperback, and I dropped it in the toilet. So I had to buy a new one, and I bought this hardback. Question number 9 is once again one that I can't answer, and that is the last book you had an argument over. I don't think I've had an argument over a book, at least not in a while, so I can't remember. Sorry if you can hear some background noise. They're doing some yard work outside the apartment complex that I live in, and I can't do anything about that. So let's move on to question number 10. The final question is the last book you couldn't get hold of, and I have 2 answers for this. First is Rolling in the Deep by Myra Grant, and this is a novella that she wrote before the novel Into the Drowning Deep. So Into the Drowning Deep I could find somewhere, but Rolling in the Deep was published, it was published by Subterranean Press, I think, and it was only a few copies, so I can't find that available. And then it is available as an ebook, at least somewhere, but I can't seem to buy it from Finland. So the publisher doesn't seem to have the Finnish rights, so I can't buy it from anywhere. And the second one is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. I love this book, but I first read it from the library, and my library got it really late. So after I had finished it from the library and I had loved it, I wanted to buy the hardback, but by then the hardback wasn't available anywhere, and now it costs something like 80 euros if I can find it on eBay or somewhere. So I am stuck with the mass market paperback. So that was the last 10 books tag, which is more like the last 6 books tag for me, because I couldn't answer some of the questions. But let's tag someone. I tag Reija from the Bookfinch and Claire from Claire Rousseau. So if you feel like doing a tag, do this one. And also if any of you feel like doing this tag, do it, say I tagged you, and leave me a comment down below so that I can go and check out your video. But that's all from me for now, and I will see you in my next video.